Hey folks, today we are taking a look at TFC Toys Uranus F-4 Phantom. This was the first release in the Uranus series. Now for those of you that don't know, Uranus is going to be not Superion. So we have the F-4 Phantom here, which is based off of the F-4 Phantom. That's the plane he's based off of. So let's take a quick look at the box. The figure comes with the figure itself, 2 missiles, and a hand. And the hand, unfortunately right now, is off camera doing something very naughty, so I am just going to make sure that he's not doing something naughty so you can get a look at it. The hand itself is actually very well done in this, and it has a good articulation. It's got a wrist joint here, which can swivel, and then ball joints at the thumb, and then hinge joint at each individual fingers, and a forward knuckle. So it's pretty much the same as Hercules, but it's very nice, very good articulation, and looks really good, very well detailed. So we'll put that off to the side. So the box itself comes with this nice see-through window, and I like this box better from the Hercules figure simply because it's white, and they've actually added a little bit, and I just like the Uranus logo here. I really like that logo. So I picked this thing up at tfsource.com, and so let's go ahead and get a look at the figure. Phantom itself is a very nice looking figure, and it is a very obviously an aerial bot here. I mean, look at that back. That is an aerial bot backpack. The one thing I'm really happy with is the overall design of the figure really lends it to be very nice and stable. This backpack doesn't actually affect the overall top heaviness of the figure at all, or as much as I thought it would. The wings, which are stored here on the legs in robot mode, are fully removable. So if you don't want the wings to be displayed in robot mode, you could just pull them off and put them off to the side. A very nice touch. The weapons themselves are missiles, which are armed in vehicle mode, obviously underneath the wings. They could be removed and stored in either hand. Now, according to the way the directions have him, he is supposed to have them holding both of them, but he can hold one in one hand and one in the other. It's not that big of a deal. I personally like the two-handed approach, or the 2-in-1-hand approach. That's just something I prefer. One thing I have noticed is with the wings removed, it actually does cause the figure to be a little bit top-heavy. Now, yes, obviously it's going to be just a slight bit top-heavy because of the backpack, but the wings add a good enough weight to keep him from falling over in any pose. And speaking of posability, this figure has a ton of it. Head is on a ball joint, though it is a little bit limited, and he does have light piping. I'm not sure how well that's showing up on camera, but he does have some amber light piping. Shoulders are on a swivel at the shoulder with another swivel for in and out just underneath that, and then a side-to-side swivel underneath that. A 90-degree bend at the fist, or at the elbow, and then fists can move in and out, but they don't swivel. Legs are on ratchets for noisy ratchets for forward and back. In and out are plastic ratchets. A swivel just underneath that, and then an almost 90-degree bend at the leg. So this amount, and ball joint and swivel at the foot. So this does give the figure quite a bit of range and posability, even with the wings attached to the sides of his legs. One thing I don't like is the lack of real heels. Yes, we have these little spurs and the engines to act as heels, but there's nothing that folds out to add any real stability to the figure, which is a shame, because if this figure had just some more heels, it would be perfect. To give you an idea of the size of the figure, here is FOC's Deluxe Class Starscream next to Phantom. Now, Deluxe Class Starscream is the same height as all the other FOC figures, so if you have any of those figures, this is a good comparison for you. Phantom's transformation is actually very easy. We're just going to leave his head as is and uncouple the backpack. Take the nose cone and fold it up and over the head. Now, you can flip the head around, but it really no point in doing that. You can flip it around, but you're going to see it anyway. For the arms, take the shoulder bits and fold them completely forward like that. So just fold them all the way forward and then leave the arms out like this as is for right now. For the rear of the tail, unfold the entire tail and just leave it pointing out like that, and then push the legs up or collapse the leg sections. When you do that, you can then take the tail section, fold it, and connect it with the rest of the body. And this is lining this up is a little bit of a little tricky. It doesn't always want to line up, so sometimes I just have to pull the legs back out, fold this section down because it's really tight, and then push the legs back in. I just kind of poked myself with his kneecaps. So we'll fold those bits up so I don't do that again. You really have to be careful with these because the figure requires quite a bit of force in order to get certain things in place. And as you can see, I will hurt myself. So just get that lined up, push that down, and then kind of just fiddle with this until you can get everything in place. And fold this down and kind of snap it in. It doesn't always want to go. You kind of have to just fiddle with it until you can get it lined up and snapped into place. And there we got it. So we'll come back around to the feet, flip them around, and then fold them up into the body or into the fuselage. And then you don't have to fold these bits down, but I like to fold them down. So next for the arms, unfold the arms and have the fist pointing into the body, and then collapse that right up into the fuselage. So we'll do that again over here. Fold out the forearm, flip the fist in, and fold that whole section down onto the fuselage. Now you notice I did that without the wings. You can leave the wings on, but I like to take the wings off. So then we'll take the wings and attach them to these pegs. And then when you attach them to the pegs, they also will then peg into the fuselage underneath where the arms were. Then we can add the missiles. And I prefer to put them on the pegs closest to the body. And then fold out the wheels, or the landing gears. The landing gears under the wings fold out easy. The landing gear under the nose cone takes a little bit of effort. Just kind of have to get your fingers in there and pull it down. And here we have Phantom in vehicle mode. And this is a spot on plane mode. I mean, this thing is beautiful. I love this plane mode. It's just really, really nice. Now, I'm a fan of the F-15 Eagle a little more, but this guy is cool. My only complaint in vehicle mode, and it's a small one, these wing tips are, well, one, they don't line up, and I think that's true in the actual plane itself, but in the front you see how it doesn't line up, and two, they move way too easily. But beggars can't be choosers, so I'm not going to complain about it too much. Just if you get this figure, be aware that this is going to move very easily. Unfortunately, it didn't come with a stand, but I'm sure I've got a Tamashi stand around here somewhere that I can use to display him. But just having him in plane mode looks really, really cool. So if you guys can get this, I would recommend it. I think Uranos is going to be just really awesome. I'm really looking forward to getting the figure to getting the whole thing. Now, I realize I have not yet reviewed Hercules as a whole. I realize that. And I think I will be reviewing him, but I think I'm going to wait until I have all of Uranos. The reason is I want to compare the two, because I want to compare them based on not just quality, but build and design. You see, TFC Toys really took a chance with the original Hercules set, and it paid off for them in spades. I mean, how many fans spent nearly $100 a figure to build Hercules? I know I did. And Hercules is great. It's a really cool set. But we need more combiners. We need more, I think we need more like that. Now, these guys are running a little cheaper. These guys are running around 89 or 80 or 89 a figure as opposed to 90 to 100 a figure. So I'm really thankful for that. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what we end up with. And I always do this. I always put the wing on wrong. So the plastic quality on this guy is also top notch. It is high quality plastic and a great, great figure. Like I said, if you can get a hold of it or wait for it to go on sale, I would definitely get a hold of these guys because they're a lot of fun. Oh, and one thing I forgot to do is flip that down in vehicle mode. That was supposed to be flipped down. So these guys are a lot of fun. So the last thing we need to talk about regarding Phantom here is his limb mode. Now, his limb mode is actually very easy to form. All we're going to do is turn, you can leave his head like this, or you can turn it around and fold his arms straight up like that. Next, I like to remove the wings. And then we fold the feet up, and we fold the knee spurs up like that. Next, leaving the legs open like that, we'll go ahead and attach the fist. Now the peg point is exactly the same as Hercules'. The same one that Hercules uses. Okay, so there, we've got the fist. Next, we'll take the hands and kind of do a half transformation of him. And just fold this down and leave this piece up. So fold the fist in, fold it down, and that's it. Oh, and open this up, and then we'll fold the connector down, and the connector is exactly the same as Hercules. So that is it. That is his fist mode. His fist mode is pretty darn big. So here is Hercules, and as you can see, the arm is just about the same size. Now, the bulkiness is different because X-Grabber is a much different proportioned figure. But as you can see, it's going to be roughly the same size. I mean, we're not talking much difference in size here. And like I said, the connectors are exactly the same. So we've got Phantom here plugged right in to Hercules, and it works fine. And it looks silly having a plane hanging off of a construction vehicle, but bear with me. So this is going to be pretty much the same size. Now, I do know that thanks to my friend Optobotomus, he showed a picture of the legs of Eagle, which is the second TFC release. So that leg is actually a little bit different sized than Hercules' legs, because the Uranos stealth, or not Silverbolt, the main component is going to be one figure as opposed to two. So I think that's going to be a little bit shorter in the torso than Hercules, but I think the figure as a whole is going to be the same size. So what does that mean? Guys, if you want to get Hercules, but I'm really, really stoked for Uranos, and I'm even more stoked for the rumored other combiners they've got coming. So TFC Toys continues to make a great, high-quality figure. If you can get this guy, I would recommend it. If you can get all of the Uranos, I think they're going to be pretty cool.